de Noirs de la diaspora, quand ils font leur démarche, leur héréncia, leur démarche africaine, ils vont toujours en Afrique de l'Ouest. Mais ils ne viennent pas dans un coin qui s'appelle le Congo, qui a été le point de départ de beaucoup d'esclaves qui sont partis de l'autre côté, mais ils ne viennent pas au Congo. En 61 au Congo, il y a eu Louis Armstrong qui est passé. En 74, il y a eu le grand festival, il y a eu pendant Ali Foreman. Mais beaucoup, quand on regarde, tout le monde, enfin tous les jazzmen, Afrique de l'Ouest, Afrique de l'Ouest, Afrique de l'Ouest, Afrique de l'Ouest, Afrique de l'Ouest. Pourtant, quand on va aux États-Unis, on va partout, on va à Cuba, on va à Saint-Louis, à Nouvelle-Orléans, vous avez le Congo Square.
Yes.
Ça, il y a Congo Square. Mais tout le monde, c'est écrit Congo Square, mais tout le monde dit Yoruba. On dit Bamboula. Voilà, mais les gens ils viennent jamais dans un coin comme le Congo. Alors je me demande, qu'est-ce qui fait que voilà, tout le monde va de l'autre côté? C'est une question de langue parce que dans ces pays-là,
Africa, they always go to West Africa and not enough to Central Africa. And this gentleman is from Congo, and he just he said, when you go to New Orleans, what do you look for? You look for Congo Square. That's where many things are from. And he regrets black American artists mainly go to West Africa and not enough to Central Africa. But it's not exactly a question, it's just a statement.
That's a good question. Yeah. For nous, Africa is one place. One place. There's no frontier for African music. C'est tout le continent. My premier morceau pour les enfants was called the Congolese Children's Song. J'ai enregistré cette song en 1964. Le morceau de Congo, les enfants, les Kivu. So for nous, it's Afrique. But West Africa is very important because beaucoup of the influence of the Delta, for example, the Delta. People like Alain Foucault-Touré, people like that. There's a big, heavy influence of blues in West Africa. That's why. But for nous, Africa for me is one place. C'est pas le pays.
Mais je vous demanderai de voir le Congo parce que ce que vous avez vu chez, comment il s'appelle, Ali Farka, vous allez le retrouver aussi au Congo chez les Balouba. Vous avez la même chose. Hein, dans le blues, c'est la même chose. Donc, bon, c'est pas pour mettre des frontières, hein, c'est juste.
And the music of the Congo, très fort. Très fort. J'écoute beaucoup la musique Congo.
Merci.
Oui, monsieur.
You're greatly expected there.
Yes. And I met Franco, I met many musicians from Congo.
Yeah. You know.
Just a question also, please. So, Randy, you love Africa, and I'm quite sure that African also love you too. So,
oh my God,
and we love you. If I can
so
say that for all the rest of the people. Okay. My question was about your musical influences. So, I have noticed that at the beginning of your career, so in your first album, the influence of how do I forget the name of Thelonious Monk, of course. So the influence of Thelonious Monk was very, very strong in your music. So someone would have just closed his eyes, listened, and he would have thought that he was listening to Thelonious Monk. So this is clear. This doesn't mean that you are not also a genius and that you don't have also your own style that you develop later. But right now, my question is the following: what is the legacy of Thelonious Monk in your current way of playing? Because I am still searching for it, and I have to tell you that it's very difficult to see what is the place of Thelonious Monk right now in your musical style. Do you know? Maybe not.
Well, we have to. What's not understood? For me, there's no such thing as modern music. What Louis Armstrong, Duke Ellington, what they did before is the highest standard of our music, in other words. But when I heard Thelonious Monk, I heard him with Coleman Hawkins. Coleman Hawkins is the first to take the tenor saxophone and put that African spirituality in the European instrument. Now, because he goes back to the 20s. Coleman Hawkins played with Mamie Smith in 1922, 24. He's the first one to record Thelonious Monk. So that means there's a whole connection between what happened with our ancestors and what we do now. But I think
maybe
of...
I translate.
Yes.
Sauf si, enfin, il n'y a pas de... Vous suivez?
You understand?
But
No, don't understand. You need translation.
D'abord, Randy dit, la musique moderne, ça ne veut pas dire grand-chose pour lui. Quand il prend le premier jazz, c'est à un niveau aussi grand que le jazz d'aujourd'hui. Et il revient à Monk en disant...
Non, c'est pas rien de parler jusque-là. Le premier, c'est le premier. Personne d'autre parle jusque-là. Fini.
Et il parle de Monk en disant qu'il a rencontré Monk grâce à Coleman Hawkins, le saxophoniste ténor immense, qui lui-même était vraiment aux origines du jazz, puisque dans les années 20, il jouait avec cette chanteuse de blues qui s'appelle Mamie Smith, et qui est l'un des premiers à avoir permis à Monk de jouer et d'être enregistré.
So you see the connection. Now, I think about Sheikh Anta Diop. Pourquoi? Because Diop said we had to put the magic back in what we do. When I heard Monk play, I heard African magic in the piano. He had a way of playing the piano, completely different, the fingers like this. And he would do a ballet. He would get a sound. To me, I heard ancient Africa, ancient Egypt, ancient Nubia, when I heard Monk play the piano. I spent 3 years with Monk trying to find out what he was doing. But he had that, for me, African piano, Thelonious Monk. Even his feet, when his feet go like this, like he's like a polyrhythm on the piano. So when I heard Monk, but then I heard Duke Ellington after, and Monk comes from Duke Ellington, because Duke Ellington was doing, he was doing magic on the piano in the 20s and 30s. In other words, how African people approach European instruments and European languages is what took place, you see. And it's incredible. It's amazing. I mean, how all these, Count Basie, Duke Ellington, Art Tatum, Thelonious Monk, they all touch the piano and get a completely different sound. Because it's a spirituality. When I touch the piano, it's no longer a European instrument. It's an African instrument when I touch the piano, because the spiritual Africa goes into that instrument. You see? And you look at the piano, and you see a piano, inside the piano is a harp. A harp is one of the Africans' oldest instruments, is a harp, going back thousand years ago. So the Europeans took the harp and did this. They had the technology. They used the Yvan for the elepphone before, because before they would touch the piano with bois. The bois is no good for the hands. So they use the elepphone. So for me, the piano is an African instrument. So when I touch it, the spiritual Africa goes to the instrument. And I learned this from Monk and Duke, all our masters, our royalty. This is our royalty. I'm just a student. What they did in the 20s and 30s was completely revolutionary. They took a European instrument, and this is something that never happened before.
Bon, vous avez tout compris? En gros, il a dit que pour lui, le piano, à la fois c'était un instrument spirituel, magique, mais surtout que c'était un instrument africain. Et qu'à travers un certain nombre de grands jazzmen, pianistes noirs américains, et il a cité Monk, mais aussi Clinton, mais aussi Basie, Tatum, il avait fait l'expérience d'un piano complètement différent de la tradition européenne et occidentale, au niveau des rythmes, et même au niveau de la matière, puisqu'il dit, vous ouvrez un piano, qu'est-ce que vous trouvez à l'intérieur? Une table d'harmonie, et cette table d'harmonie, en fait, c'est une harpe horizontale. Et par ça, par le fait aussi que les touches sont en ivoire et qu'on rejoint les éléphants, eh bien voilà, le piano est un instrument africain.
Une dernière question.
Bon, allez, une dernière question, et après, Randy va recommencer à signer son livre.
C'est bon, alors, signé.
Bon, alors vous préférez lire. Allez.
Oh yeah, I have a question. I have a question. Okay, so We're so privileged that you're here with us in Paris because there's some students here from Syracuse. And I'm from
Wonderful.
Syracuse.
Oh,
Yes.
great.
And so when we heard that Présence Africaine was bringing you here, we knew that the diaspora was truly alive, as it had been in 1947. So thank you so much for coming. My only question is this. What does Paris mean to you?
Paris means a lot to me because I've met more African people in Paris than I've met in America.
Paris, c'est très important parce qu'il y a rencontré plus d'Africains qu'aux États-Unis.
When I first came to Paris, I met people from South Africa, the people from all over Africa I met in Paris, plus the Caribbean. So for me, Paris is more close. America is not as close as here. So it's very important for me because from each one I try to learn something. Like you from the Congo, I want to find out something about the Congo. You from Niger, I want to find out something from Niger. You know, but it comes to find out it's Africa. The connection is the music cuts all the frontiers. When you hear the music of Africa, man, nothing like that on the planet.
Right.
Nothing like that on the planet. Yeah. Because the music is connected with the galaxies, going back to ancient Egypt, ancient Nubians. Our ancestors created music to thank the Creator for the food that we have, for our harvest, for our family. So with African people, I don't care where we are. I've been to Fiji, looking for African people. They got another kind of music, you know. And so wherever I go, when you find African people, you find a fantastic music. Because we are music. We live music.
That's right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Can we add another question? Can we add another question, please?
Yes, let's go.
Shaiman. Okay. We'd like to know.
Go.
Would like to know. Excuse me. I'm not really accustomed to this, so please. We'd like to know. Do you consider? Okay. Do you consider having reached your peak into as far as spreading your message, or do you have any not regrets, but do you think there's something more that you can add? Do you wish there was something else that you could say or do in order to spread your message?
Well, my history. I'm born in Brooklyn, New York.
Okay.
My father in the house, maps of Africa, books on Africa. But when I go outside, Africa is this.
That's right. That's right.
This year has been the most fantastic year for me, even right now, just to be here and talk about Africa and from my heart, from my soul. I couldn't ask for better. This is my new CD. The double CD comes out next month.
Okay.
And it's about Nubia. And we have a narration speaking about the Nubian civilization, which was before Egypt, you see. And we have musicians from, on this I have musicians from Ghana, from Panama, from Nubia, from Morocco, from China, all these musicians, and we all pay homage to our great ancestors, which is Mother Africa, you see. So I've been blessed. This hat that you see, my first concert, well, 2016, I was in Dakar with my wife and the family. My only concert in Janvier was Panama. My father was born in Panama. And they honored me in Panama, but they really honored my father. And we spent 1 week talking about my father. And from that point up until now, this year has been like this for me. Yeah. Because in the 60s, Africa, what are you doing? Africa. Yeah. Today,
That's right.
it changed a lot now. Wherever I go now, they respect me because of my love of my ancestral home, which is Africa. And like I said to my brother from the Congo, we claim the whole continent belongs to us. Because I can't say, but see, all Africa is mine. And this continent has given the world so much beauty, so much beauty. So for me to be part of that, it's the greatest honor I can think. And every day, I talk to my father and my mother. Shang-Cho, my man, mon père. Yes. Merci for giving me Africa. Merci for making me proud for this color. Making me proud for this hair. Merci. Because the rest of the world, So to answer your question, right now, I'm so happy to see everybody, I can't tell you. And to be in Présence Africaine, every time I come in here, I just look at the books.
For sure. Yeah.
I guess you answered that question. The reason why is just because they are here, and we would like to see more people like you taking that message out and giving back to the community, like we say in the States.
It's happening. It's happening.
It's heavy.
The ancestors, they've been back.
Right.
I can feel their spirit.
Great. Thank you.
Bon, il va commencer à dédicacer ses livres, même si tout à l'heure on reprend un petit bout du terrain.
I need something right here.